Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is my second video, and before I was just ranting, talking a little bit about how we don't really have too much time on this earth, and we should probably use that as diligently and as effectively as possible. And of course, with things like fear and motivation, that's kind of difficult. And while I was talking about the subject and discussing it with some of my friends who saw my post, my first video. I've received some interesting thoughts. One in particular is that, while motivation is good and while it's possible for me to motivate people, you can't just plant the seed and expect it to grow, right? So what I think my friend was trying to tell me with that is like, the same way that you can plant seeds into people, you can say things to people. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That may be true, but there's more to it. I can't just say things to people. It's not possible to just say things to people and then expect them to act upon those words for the rest of their lives, no matter how inspirational they may be. There are people out there who are inspirations to others, such as Les Brown, Anthony Tompkins, Eric Thomas, Elliot Holmes, who actually say all of these very enlightening and very motivational things that may get people on the right path. But when it comes down to it, people are going to get thirsty again after a while. While they may actually take that initial drink of water, that one drop isn't going to keep them hydrated throughout their whole journey to becoming the most successful person that they may be able to become. So while having this realization, I started to think about it a little more. Okay, well, maybe I can, guide people a little bit, kind of like in a life coach type of way, and you could do the same thing. Find people that may be having a hard time, direct them to my videos or to someone else's videos, and let them know, hey, if this is where you want to be in life, then X, Y, Z, this is what you have to do in order to get there. But you can't control people. You can't control people. It's more of the essence of planting a seed and then watering it over time. Because, grass is only greener on the other side because you don't water your own. Your friends or your family just may not be the people that you want them to be. Not because, they choose to completely ignore whatever vision that you have for them, but more so because they just aren't ready to get on that path, at least not by themselves. They need help. They need someone to water them and to nurture them. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with anyone who's getting into a new lifestyle, that's a baby, and you have to nurture and cater for that baby. And that goes for everything. When it comes to relationships with your friends, with your family, even your loved ones. One of the things that I've been dealing with lately, with a couple of my friends personally, 3 of them actually, all married, and they're all having problems with their spouses. These are all newlyweds. I'm not married. I'm single as can be. And if there's one thing that, even as a single person, I would think is pretty, expected is, good communication. Now, while we all know that communication is important, of course it comes easier for some of us than for others. So, I just think that's something that, that's all something that we can work on, especially when it comes to, motivating and cultivating our family members and nurturing our friends to be, the best people that we know that they can be, to live up to their potential and to use their time as effectively as possible. Think about any bad situation that you are in, right? Anytime you go to the gym and you start struggling lifting those weights. Anytime you start to feel frustrated on one of your off days because you didn't do too well in school, or you got yelled at by a lot of customers at your job, you were building something. In the case of weights, you're building muscle. In the case of being yelled at by your parents, you're building character. You're becoming a more responsible person. When you're being yelled at your job, you're building patience. You're becoming more patient, and you're learning people skills. As frustrating as it may be in order to deal with people like that, you learn something. You gain something from that experience. And while good experiences may be just that, just good. It's nearly impossible, I would say impossible, to actually value those experiences without first knowing what a bad experience is, without first experiencing a little bit of heartache or frustration. The reason why long couples and long relationships last so long is not because they were always good, but because they were able to make it through the bad times. So if you find yourself in that situation, where you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, or husband, wife, and you guys are fighting, especially if you're newlyweds. I can't stress this enough because I really don't want to see anybody's relationship fail. And a couple of these relationships out of the 3 look like they're about to fail. If you really feel like it's not something that you can hold on to, the only thing that I urge you to do is wait. You got into that relationship because you love that person. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget where your heart was when you made the decision to spend the rest of your life with this person. In the case of being married. In the case of being engaged. In the case of being boyfriend and girlfriend, at least making it a long-term relationship just to see where it goes. We were all given a purpose. And as human beings, companionship facilitates, helps us get through those times that'll help us to reach that goal, our purpose. Whether that be companionship with a friend or a parent or a loved one. A loved one being boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, etc. Please just do yourself a favor. If you find yourself in this particular situation, and communicate. If voices start to be raised, just take a deep breath. Go away for about 5 minutes until your head cools down. If that takes till tomorrow because you like to hold on to things, that's cool. But you need to understand that it's just important for you. It is just as important for you to get off your chest and for you to say is what you have to say as it is for that person to say what they have to say to you. The reason why relationships tend to fail more than any other, and I can say this from personal experience, is because people like to wait for their turn to speak instead of listening to the other person. Listen to the other person. Listen to what they have to say. Write it down if you have to. It may not seem important to you, but understand that person is not you. They're going to have different values, different opinions that you're going to have sometimes. Breathe. Take 5 minutes, an hour, a day. Come back. Speak to them like they're a human being that is not deaf. Receive their thoughts the same way that they received yours. And if they're receiving them negatively, then of course you have to come back again. That is the way that relationships prevail. Have a good day.